What is up? It is Dan here from Guitar Talk, back with another review video. Hit the like button, subscribe if you want to. Roll that intro. What is up, everyone? So today I am here with the PRS NF53 SE guitar. So for long-term viewers of the channel, those of you that follow me and stuff, you may know that I had the NF53 in black dog hair when it came out, the full fat American version, and I loved it so much I bought it for myself. So this is a very familiar looking guitar to me, and I've been looking forward to getting one of these to review and go through some of the differences from someone who had, I will say had, an NF53 and gigged it as my main guitar for a good while. So let's get stuck in. Going over the specs at the body on this one, we've got I think it's a 3-piece Swamp Ash body from the looks of it. We've got a big pickguard on here with the PRS S deep dish narrow field pickups mounted directly to the pickguard. They're not direct body mounted on this one. We've got a PRS designed bridge on there, which is kind of like a hybrid between top loading and through stringing, so you still get the break angle and stuff. Telly stylish, I don't know what exactly they call this bridge. You've got a volume, tone, no kind of coil splits on there, and then a 3-way switch as well. Heading over to the next side of things on this, we've got a maple neck with a maple fretboard. It's a satin finish, 22 frets on here. It's got the new style PRS tuners, or the SE version of those tuners. Lovely shiny birds in there. We've got a 10-inch radius and a 25.5-inch scale. Sounds and tones that you can get out of this guitar, just to get it out the way, because I see a lot of like influencers and a lot of like sponsored review videos and stuff who say like, oh yeah, it's a PRS Telly, you can get all those Telly style tones out of it and stuff. Like, it doesn't sound like a Telly. My American one didn't sound like a Telly. This doesn't sound like a Telly. It's its own thing. These pickups, they don't sound like single coils. They don't sound like humbuckers. I wouldn't even say they sound like P90s. They sound like their own thing, and what they do sound like is awesome. They've got great picking dynamics. They clean up really well. They've got great clarity to them. You can get all the kind of brightness that you want out of them with kind of like none of the sharp top end. And they dirty up really well. They clean up really well when you back the volume off, which I know kind of sounds like I'm describing a P90, but they don't have that like mid-hump and hollowness that a P90 has. They are their own thing, and you can get anything from this, from like funky tones, nice big clean tones, very rich sounding tones. You can push it into higher gain territory. It kind of just does it all and does it really, really well. Yes, you can get like approximate tones with like some Telly styleness in there, but then it's got Telly DNA. It's got like a Telly style bridge on it. So it is just a great jack of all trades guitar that you can get loads of sounds out of. It is a fantastic guitar. If you're looking for a guitar that can just kind of do it all quite well, then this is definitely a guitar to look at. Setup on this out of the box. I've reviewed loads of PRS SEs, I've reviewed loads of PRSs, and it's just like no surprise. Straight out of the box, the action on this is quite low. It doesn't buzz anywhere. It doesn't go out of tune anywhere. Like, it doesn't go out of tune when you play the first few frets. The intonation's in. It feels great. There's no sharp fret ends. It's been set up really well. There's nothing wrong with this. This is a perfectly set up guitar, straight out of the box. There's nothing to complain about here. Frets, lovely and smooth. Can't really feel any rough spots on them. Maybe they're a little bit scratchy, but nothing that I would say is like over the top or like, oh, they haven't done that very well. It's just an incredibly well finished off and set up guitar straight out of the box. Build quality on this, again, it's like, from a distance, you wouldn't look at this and go, oh, it's an Indonesian one, it's Court made. Court make fantastic guitars. They do a great job. And this is another example of a really well put together, really well built guitar. It feels like great quality. The tuners feel fantastic. I know PRS are putting in like a lot of effort at the moment with the SE range to make it as close to the American range to a price point that they can. And this is just a great example of this. I would honestly say, like, in terms of build quality from this, you would have a hard time justifying paying for the American equivalent just because they've put this together so well. Completely, like I said, nothing to complain about, nothing seems amiss. It's just been put together fantastically. So in terms of build quality straight out of the box, top marks. So to go through some of the differences on the guitar, and I will say this, so as I mentioned, like, this is not a sponsored review. We don't get given these guitars, we pay for these with our own money. And I'm gonna go off on like a bit of a sidetrack here, because like, I was talking to a ex-guitar reviewer who used to do some really cool stuff. And he said like he got out of the game of like reviewing videos because he was like a, he would get sent guitars from companies to review, and he did a couple of reviews where he said like, it's not a very good guitar. And the companies basically said like, we're not sending you anything anymore. If you don't say our guitar's good, like, you have to say it's good, otherwise we're not sending you guitars. And he just was like, no, I'm not doing it anymore. Like, if I'm being told what I've got to say and I've got to say everything's good when it's not, it's dishonest. And like, that's the cool thing about what I do, is I get to be honest. We buy these with our own money. If it's not great, I'm gonna say it's not great and all that kind of stuff. So like, I love doing these honest reviews because I get to give people a heads up of like what really comes out of the box when you buy stuff. And this is a fantastic guitar. And I mentioned earlier, like, I used to own the NF53 core line model. I say used to, I'm a guitarist. The wind started blowing that way instead of that way. And I went, huh, I fancy a change. I'm gonna get something else. And I gigged the NF53 for a couple of years. It was one of my main guitars. I used it in music videos. I used it like to record with. And it was a fantastic guitar, but I just fancied a change. But I don't have it here now to be able to go, here's the difference between the two. But from memory, because obviously I gigged that guitar loads, from memory, so one of the things, and this is why I mentioned about honest reviews and stuff, is when this guitar was first released, loads of influencers and people who get given guitars to review and sent guitars and stuff were all like, oh my God, they feel exactly the same. You can't tell the difference between them and all that kind of stuff like that companies would want you to say. And what I will say is this. This is a great feeling guitar. It is a very good quality guitar. It is a fantastic guitar. Compared from memory to my NF53 core line model, it feels like a very different guitar. Obviously, like the body shape and stuff, yeah, fine. But to me, like 90% of a guitar feel is in the neck. It's what you're playing, it's what you're like, all that kind of stuff. And this neck from memory feels like a much rounder and bigger neck than what the NF53 did. And it was one of the things that everyone was like, oh, they're exactly the same. It's not. My colleague, guitar tech, bandmate G, he had an NF53 as well. He picked this up and straight away he was like, ooh, that's bigger. It's a satin neck and not a gloss neck, which suits me because I prefer satin necks. But it's like almost like that really old classic U-shaped Fender neck, like really early Fender neck. It's, you know, like when you do a D chord with like a F sharp in the bass and you kind of wrap your thumb around, like that is a struggle to do on this and actually get to the string and hold it down because it's that kind of big. It's comfortable like when you're playing normally, but it is big. So if you are someone who loves the shape of your NF53 neck and you think you're just going to get a comfortable backup that's going to feel exactly the same, you're not. It doesn't feel the same. If you're someone that likes slim necks, if you're someone that's got a custom 24 or a custom 22 and you like that neck profile and you think that this is going to be the Tele equivalent that's going to feel the same as your other PRSs, it doesn't. It's definitely a girthy neck. So if you're into your slimmer neck profiles, this might not be the one for you. Other than that, differences are obviously poly finish on this one. I think the NF53 core line's got a nitro finish. This has got the big style scratch plate on it, which is probably like a cost thing because obviously, so with the NF3 core line models, you've got the little scratch plate and then the pickups are direct mounted into the body, the pickups and stuff, the controls and stuff as well. So with this, someone can be working on the pick guards for these and wiring up the pick guards while someone's doing the bodies and while someone's doing the necks. So it's a faster turnaround, so it's cheaper because you can build more of them quicker. Whereas with the core line model, you can't be wiring up the pickups and the electronics at the same time that someone's finishing the body, if that makes sense. I don't know how much that's going to affect the tone, but what I will say is that they both sound awesome. This sounds awesome and the core line model sounds awesome. I would have to pull up an old recording where I use the NF53 with the same settings and everything and record these side by side to see what the exact difference is. But as I say, they both sound great, but just in terms of differences between them, the main difference, which is a big thing, is the neck profile. Bigger on this, to my hand, to my feel, to my guitar tech's feel and everything as well. Other than that though, like I say, from a distance, you look at it, and if someone was playing one of these on stage, I would have to squint and look and see whether it said SE on the headstock or not to know if this was an SE. I guess, you know, scratch plate, big giveaway, but it wouldn't be apparent straight away from a distance looking to kind of go, oh yeah, SE. But yeah, that just is what it is. Is the guitar worth the money? Now, I think when these were announced, they were announced at around like £1,000. And is the guitar worth the money for £1,000? I would say yes. Yes, it is worth the money at £1,000 because it is that good. But at the same time, at £1,000, you're up against a lot of different guitars, and you're up against a lot of different guitars at a cheaper price point as well. Like Fender have come out with different ranges at cheaper price points and stuff. So These now in the UK, I don't know if it's a permanent thing going forward. I don't know if it's just for the rest of the year and all that kind of stuff. But in the UK now, these you can pick them up from some shops brand new for $679, and they've only just really reached the UK as well. So it's not like they've been on sale in loads of places for $999. $679 for this as a guitar is a fantastic guitar. I would not hesitate to own one at that price. It is definitely worth trying one to see if you get on with the neck profile. But like in terms of if it's worth the money, you get a really, really cool padded gig bag, more padded than like the normal SE gig bags, I think. But yeah, no brainer. At the price these are at the moment, $679, it is definitely worth picking one up. Would I play one of these live? And as usual by that, I mean, if I was going on tour, if I was doing a big run of shows and someone handed me one or two of these and said, you can only play PRS SE NF53s on this run of shows, would I be happy with that? Now, straight up, like the neck profile for me it's a bit too big. It's a bit uncomfortable for me. So in terms of that, I wouldn't be like overly thrilled about it, because I know that if I'm doing like a 2-hour show every night, and this is just personal preference, some people love big necks, but I feel like I would start getting fatigued just doing the playing clips of these. My hand was getting fatigued. That if I was playing this like night after night, or like a couple of shows a week and stuff, and doing 2-hour, 2.5-hour sets that I typically do, like midway through the set, my hand's going to start getting tired, and I'm not going to be playing stuff, especially towards the back end of the show where there's extended solo bits and all that. I'm not going to be playing that to the best of my ability because my hand's going to get fatigued. But in terms of build quality, how reliable this feels, how like good quality this feels, the tones and sounds and everything that you can get out of it, I would be more than happy to play this on stage and know that it's going to sound great and give a really good professional look, tone, and just be a great gig-worthy guitar. The neck profile, as I say, is just personal preference, but if you are looking for a gigging-worthy instrument, a tour-worthy instrument, then absolutely no question that this definitely is all of those things. Is there anything that I don't like about the guitar? Now, just for me personally, it's just the neck profile. It's a bit too on the big side for me. Other than that, it sounds great. It looks great. I would love to know what's under this scratch plate. I might take the scratch plate off and have a look to see if, do you have options to put like traditional style tele pickups in or something like that? If you truly want a PRS Telecaster, how does this like compare to the, could you put the American deep dish pickups in here, for example, if you wanted to upgrade the electronics for some reason? All that kind of stuff I would love to know. But like in terms of if there's anything that I don't like about the guitar, apart from the neck profile, no, this is an awesome guitar. It's an absolute home run for PRS. So there we go, that is the PRS SE NF53. Fantastic guitar. I've wanted to get my hands on one of these for a while. As soon as this was announced, I still had my NF53 core line at the time, And I did consider getting one of these as a backup for that guitar. And I'm kind of glad that I didn't, because the difference in the neck profile and feel, which, as I say, for me is like 90% of the guitar. I probably would have got this against my NF53 and been like, they feel completely different, and I'm going to take a different guitar as a backup tonight rather than take this. But as I say, if you like big necks, then this is great for you. I think this is fantastic. I think it's a home run for PRS, and I can see why people are saying, what have they done? Like, why would anyone want to buy the Core model over this one when this one is so good? Because it is genuinely that good. For me personally, like if I was holding the Core model, which is 4 times the price, and holding this, it would just come down to neck profile as to which one I preferred, as to which one I was going to buy. And it would be hard to justify spending 4 times as much just for a slightly slimmer neck. Let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know if you've got both and you think I'm talking out my behind when I say that this is a bigger neck. Maybe it's just that this one came out of the CNC machine with a slightly bigger neck. I've not played 2 of them to know, but I can only review what's in front of me. Genuinely interested to know what people think of this. Let me know in the comments. Other than that, hit the like button, subscribe if you want to, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.